We'll see too. It's kind of odd. It's kind of odd to me too that they chose Microsoft when Google seems to be the king of online ads and understanding how to do that. So I'd be kind of curious to see how Microsoft helps them execute, in this new approach.
Does anyone know what happened yesterday? Why was this? What happened? I didn't even look at Netflix on Friday. What happened? Was there great news right before earnings?
I think it was the day before. It was the day before that they announced the Microsoft partnership.
Right.
But I don't think it wasn't in after hours or anything.
Yeah. So it was like a delayed action.
Yeah, that's what I think. I didn't see anything else for it, but yeah, man, that thing took off like a damn rocket.
16-point move. That's insane. That's the biggest move I've seen out of Netflix in a long time. Okay, well then, if I stick with my rules, then if it pumps, then buy puts for the earnings. I mean, something's got to get priced in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm recording.
Actually,
I just turned on the recording actually, so we missed the first 5-10 minutes. But yeah, I'm recording, and I'll put it on. I'll upload it to YouTube later, and you guys can view it. Any other tickers you guys want to look at? Quiet.
Can we do Zeus's favorite AMD?
Hey. So AMD's got these 3 weird channels. I put this super crappy little hand-drawn chart that I did on Webull last night. I don't know if you want to. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you want to share your screen?
I don't have anything pulled up, dude.
Okay. Yeah, what's up with AMD? It broke out.
It did, yeah. So
huge.
Yeah. So I think it's going to continue to run. I think the CHIPS bill is probably likely to get past that $52 billion deal in Congress that Nancy is stumping for. So I think you're going to see some gaps get filled on AMD as well as NVIDIA, much to my chagrin, because my stupid ass is still holding a short position on it. So I might be covering here, helping push that price up.
Did you ever cover your Apple?
No.
Okay.
No, they haven't asked for it either. So I still think I think Apple's going to roll over and die over the next quarter. But yeah, I haven't covered that at all. AMD might get me though, because of this the news that's about to hit if they pass this bill. They have to. I think they have to, man. I think that chips are a national security concern across the board, not just in commercial computing power, but from a national defense perspective, with all of the different weapon systems and things like that. And so, making sure that AMD and NVIDIA and TSM and Apple and everything can be produced at home prior to the next great power competition, kinetic warfare type thing, possibly with China. I think that they have to get the infrastructure in place like yesterday in order to start producing this stuff. So I think that AMD is very likely to keep pumping. So I'll probably be exiting that short.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're past that CHIPS bill, right, I do think it's a little bit of sell the news kind of event, because it's starting to get priced in here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the market obviously is expecting that CHIPS bill to pass and et cetera. And AMD will eventually move, start moving with the market. But yeah, I mean, right now, so for the most part, I mean, we're still, from a technical perspective, we're still looking at bear flags, because this bear flag happened, this bear flag happened, and we're starting to repeat that pattern across the board.
Yeah.
So, the real bullishness would, if it, $90 or more on AMD is pretty damn bullish, but doesn't mean that we can't play the pumps, play the dumps, etc., until the market decides to say, okay, well, crap, the inflation's over, great news everywhere, everybody's bullish, and whatever the market's smoking, right? Just roll with it.
Mhm. Yep.
Which I still don't understand what they're smoking, but I like some.
You want to you want to talk about block?
SQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, SQ earnings is not till what, August, so I'm not
Yeah,
terrible.
August 4th. So we got like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. So I'll play it when it comes to August. But yeah, I mean, Square is just sitting kind of near the floor here.
Yeah.
They've treated me well for the last 2 quarters as well. So it's, ride the winners. So they got this, weekly support here at 58. If it starts coming down here in the next couple of weeks, if the market really tanks, etc., start buying some calls. Maybe start buying some calls, because this was the area of point of breakout back in
Mhm.
2018 and 2019, right? This is control here. So if it comes down here at 58, I probably need to set alert, but it comes down to 50, low mid 50s. I think that's a great area to buy some calls for the earnings run up, because SQ has not disappointed. But obviously, even with their great earnings, okay, they still dump eventually, because why? Obviously the market, right? And Bitcoin and all that. So, but they have done exceptionally well in this market. So
Yeah. Do you want to switch back to that daily and draw that pennant? Yeah, so you get that little gap. Yep. And then
yeah, there's our resistance there. So it kind of looks like resistance here. So yeah, I mean,
up and down.
Charts look like a bear pennant at this point.
Yeah.
Still. Okay. So all you got to do, for you guys on the line here, I mean, you could do the daily, or maybe do a 4-hour, and just look at where the resistances are going into this pump, right? So for example, if you look at Q on the 4-hour, right, we're approaching a trend line resistance on this downward slope, right? So we're nearly there at 293, right? So if it starts blowing past that, you can kind of get a good sense that, all right, the market's going to pump this 300 on top of this channel. It's about 302. All right. But if it starts rejecting here at 293 on Monday, or even 295, let's just say it goes over for a little bit, right? Sometimes it doesn't, it's not always just going to line up to your trend line. If it goes a little bit over it, and then it kind of starts stalling out here, excuse me, around 293, 295, losing my voice, then you can start adding some puts, right? You get a sense that it's going to retest this support line at 281 and kind of do this thing, right? And then the market will determine whether we do this or we do this.
Yep.
Hopefully we do this.
Yeah, I think, I said it at the beginning. I think we're going to revisit lows over the next 3 weeks, just because earnings I don't think are going to be good, especially across that tech sector. And it's going to be.
I'm drawing my wave 5 down to 160 just for fun. That's where we're going, guys. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I will load the boat, I promise you, at QQQ 260. How about that? 260-ish. I think I would load the boat. I think that's going to be it. I mean, for me, it just feels like with all these bearish pennants happening and all this bear flags happening, the market obviously is looking for any excuse to pump, but it's also looking for any excuse to dump too.
Yep.
Right? I still think that we're going to see one more new low before things turn up. So before it starts forming that bottoming or forming the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. And
forming the bottom doesn't always mean, right, it's going to go straight up from the bottom, right? You might see an area like Q, right, where it hits a bottom, and then it's kind of acting like this. It's staying within a range, right? Stays within a range. And so the next few weeks will be very telling in terms of, okay, are we going to come out of here, or are we going to dump back down and create a new low and then move up, okay, or consolidate, right? So it's a difficult market for sure. I mean, I feel you guys pain all the time. If you're just on the wrong direction all the time, yeah, man, it's going to happen because the market is so freaking news driven. You guys got my comedy puts right on Thursday. If anybody remember that, let me just kind of go over that play with you guys, since you guys if you guys bought puts with me on Thursday. So on Thursday, over the last couple of days, right, Wednesday and Thursday from CPI print, we were able to dump down down to 279, 280 and jump to 288 in one single day. So it did that twice this week, which is really interesting, even with the hot CPI, right? So then right around this area was a huge area of resistance at 284, which correlates with MA 200 on a 5, right? So I said, okay, let's see if it starts breaking through here. All right. If it breaks through, then I think we should play calls. If it dumps, then we should play puts. All right. And so it started dumping. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy the puts down here, right? It just broke the EMAs. You get a big old green candle fighting back into the EMA. So it'd be silly to buy puts. But what I said to myself is that if it actually rejects the moving average 200 here again, I would buy puts. And it actually did reject that MA 200 with the shooting star candlestick. So I felt confident. And then what happens, right? Bullard or Bostic, whatever his name is, started saying good things. He started saying like, okay, well, I mean, he said the market may have got ahead of themselves with the 100 BPS. All right. So he's actually in support for 75 basis points. Right. And so right after I bought those puts, yes, please laugh at me at my expense. Right. Blew out of the MA 200. Right. It dumped back down into MA 200, retested that support and then gone. Okay. So you're going to find yourself, and sometimes you're going to find yourself in situations where you're on the wrong side because some event just happened or something just shifted in the market. Okay. So based on those comments, I was like, all right, let's just play calls. Why fight it? Right. Yes, it's low volume, but why fight it at this point? Because from this area, I started buying 290 calls. Right. And then I held it overnight. I sold it on Friday off this pump up to 289. And I started loading 292 calls, okay, on this dip. And I played, and I'm still holding 292 calls, which is now in the money.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, I share that to, it's kind of funny as hell, right? It's like me buying Tesla calls and then all of a sudden someone dies because of autopilot. That has happened to me before. I kid you not, last year or something like that. I bought a Tesla call. 1 hour later, somebody dies in an autopilot accident. So things like that can happen. Obviously, it's not going to happen to you all the time, but this market is very news driven so far. It's always looking for a reason to pump, always looking for a reason to dump. And so the best thing you can do is over the weekends, if you guys are on the Zoom, is start mapping out a plan. If you're going to play SPY, play SPY. If you're going to play Q, Tesla, whatever your plan is, whatever tickers you guys go to. A lot of people like AMD. A lot of people just scalp Roblox for some reason, which is cool too. Start forming some type of game plan going into Monday. All right. Yep. We know that this pump is starting to exhaust itself. Okay. There's a little bit of room. We know that there's still more room up north. Okay. Start, plotting, okay, where can I potentially start buying, let's say August or September puts? Okay. Where should I dump my calls? All right. If I'm writing in the money at 292, if it breaks 290, for example, then I'm done. I'm done with it. I'll take the money and run. Okay. But if it holds 290 on Monday with a slight dip, let's say at the bell, and it continues to run, great. Then I'll hold the 292. I got a few extra days on it. All right. Maybe I'll buy some, a week out calls, right? Just to roll the profits and put the profit into another, let's say a 295 call, because that momentum is there. Okay. But if we start noticing, for example, whatever your plan is, we start rejecting at 295, 296 area. All right. And it keeps banging its head against 295, 296. Okay. Then I'm starting to average into puts. Okay. And I'm not likely to hold on to calls. Okay. Of course, things can happen. outside your control. Let's say 295 actually hits, okay? And 295 puts, all right, so you buy 290 puts, for example, for a month out, all right? Nothing really bad happens in the market, right? It just takes a dip, all right? So now you got to look at the chart and be like, all right, I bought puts here, all right? And eventually things got to retrace, right? Outside of catalysts, outside of events, things got to retrace. So if it retraces, all right, you get that sense that, all right, if it pumps up to 297, it's got to come back and test some support in this range, right? Somewhere around here, maybe even 288. Okay. So let's say you did, and that was a great play, right? You rode some puts from 295 down to 290 psychological support, and then it starts doing this on you. Then you know that you got to cash out those puts and walk away and start buying calls, because why? The market's holding 290. Okay. Market's holding 290, and then it actually breaks that prior resistance, which now becomes support, and it does this. I was discussing this with someone else earlier. Okay. So as we go up, resistances will become support and support becomes resistances. As we go down, vice versa, right? Let's say, for example, all right, comes Monday, bad news across the market. You know, Swiss bank does another emergency rate hike, whatever. All right. Before you get all crazy, and most likely Q would drop because of that, and it's going to break the support at 288, right? 288 is our support right now. All right. It drops below 288, but it actually holds 280. And then if you start buying puts at 280, well, what's it going to do? It's going to do one of these things, right? Because, you know, the market doesn't care, whatever. All right. Who cares? We're used to rate hikes now. Rate hikes don't even affect us. Okay. Or, for example, if let's say the news is all bad, all right, the market's going to prepare to make a new low. All right. And let's say you're starting to buy some puts, pumps a little bit. All right. So 288 was the prior support, which now should become resistance. Right. 275 was a prior support, becomes resistance. I'm sorry, prior support becomes prior resistance becomes support, and the market can eventually do one of these things. Does that make sense? But what you got to do, what I'm trying to just say is always look at the support resistance flips, all right, from above and below, and see where your targets should be, right, in terms of buying or how long you should be holding calls or how long you should be buying puts. Okay. I guarantee you the market's going to be crazy this week. All right. If you look at, sorry if I'm preaching here, but if you look at the 1 hour, let's say you don't care for the daily chart, you want to look at shorter time frames. Okay. All right. We're on this amazing pump to 292. It's got to retrace. We're starting to get extended from the EMAs, right? So you get that sense that, okay, even if there's a dip on Monday, is it a bad thing? Or is it an opportunity to load? Let's say, for example, on Monday, hey, you know what, 292 got rejected. Okay, fair. You know, it's going to happen. All right. And it dumps down. All right. Back to what? Volume shelf support at 289, 288 area. All right. Why would you buy puts in this area? Right. You should have bought it up here, right? Because it's going to test this and then go do something like that on you. That might be a scenario too. Guarantee you Monday, it's not going to go straight to 296. There's going to be a dip below, probably, I would say 290 or down to the EMAs. Let's say 290 EMA 15. Okay. And then it'll start making a gradual move past 292. Okay. So I'm in agreement. Like, yeah, Monday's looking pretty bullish so far. So unless some bad news happens over the weekend, right? So if you see 290 psychological support on Monday, that might be a good area just to buy some calls and ride it back up until Netflix earnings and Tesla earnings, etc.
Over the last week, you and I have been talking about TQQQ, SQQQ, U Pro as an alternative for calls and puts. I don't feel like a lot of people play those, and maybe people can hop in the comments and prove me wrong. But if your appetite for wanting to play these shorter term swings that we're talking about based on the support and resistance level, T triple Q, S triple Q, if you want to play the NASDAQ or Q, and then U Pro for SPY is a great way to have exposure to it. I would just caution you, mention this in chat, that there are fees that are associated with these like triple leveraged shorts and longs and things like that on the from the companies that do them. So I wouldn't definitely not hold them super long term unless you have the money to pay for that and you're comfortable doing that. But it's definitely something that you can play up and down along with the support and resistance levels, and just bounce back and forth between T and S triple Q. So you had mentioned yesterday you're still holding T triple Q from your purchase, I think 3 days ago now.
Yeah, I got some shares. Yeah, I'm just writing some shares. It's kind of cool, right? It's nice to go along with the Qs as well, and you can actually obviously trade the shares during pre-market and after hours, right?
Yep.
So just in case a pump happens, you can cash out, and you don't have to until the bell, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So feel free, and you can buy options too on TQ and all of these, because they're a lot cheaper, right? If you're smaller, feel free to play the TQQQ.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Anybody got any questions? If not, then
So Paul's asking for a Google chart. That's not one that we normally look at.
Did they split? I thought they split. Is Monday?
I think it happened. Pretty sure it happened.
It's still at 2,200. It's getting stuck in this area, right? This is just it's a weird area for Google. It's like right here. It's just this support resistance, it's kind of range bound here. And I mean, it dumps down from this range and comes back into it, waiting on news. If market's really good, it blasts through. But yeah, you're triple top, right? This is a 1, 2, 3 triple top, triple bottom too. But it's range bound for now until probably, I don't know when their earnings are, but this still looks like a nice bear flag as well, kind of like this, right? I mean, it's happened here before too, just on a smaller range, but a lot of stocks are looking like this, right? We're just kind of stuck waiting, not sure where the market really wants reverses or goes lower, etc. But if these bear pennants play out textbook style, then highly likely on bad news, etc., recession, etc., we're gonna dump down, split or not, right? Amazon didn't pump at all for a few days, even after the split. They actually sold off.
Dude, I think the real pump came like last week on that. Finally, man, that thing kind of sort of took off, and then came back down. But kind of just at that point, I wasn't playing it.
Yep.
Hey, what did you see on Bitcoin? I know it's pumping, but
I put on Webull. I can buy Bitcoin anytime, right? Obviously, it's pumping right now. It's like up $603 on the day. So I'm just playing a 5-minute chart, loading a little dip. I'm trying to see if it can break out of that 22,000 mark this weekend. Actually, if it does, then market's gonna be really bullish on Monday. So
yeah, I think like 21.98 and then 22.4. Like I very quickly just like glanced at it when I saw that you had hopped in it. I didn't buy any.
No, yeah, I'm just playing it. I'm just bored. Don't take it as alert, guys. I'm just bored. I got something. I got to watch something, right, on my phone this weekend. So the momentum seems pretty darn strong on Bitcoin. So let's see if we can get that 22,000.
Hey. Oh, Michael Saylor. Actually, let me just find it real quick.
Let's see.
He sent a tweet.
Yeah. 1 hour is kind of blowing up here. Interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin's
Pretty
doing that bear
sure.
flag too. I mean, you know, you can't deny it, it's still there.
Yeah.
Everybody's just, you know, expecting this to be the bottom, but I don't know, kind
I
of
don't think so.
shaky. If it breaks out, yeah,
Think so.
22,000 would be a breakout towards this EMA here, but if it comes down here and threatens this level again, then boom.
Mhm. Yeah, how prophetic was old Warren Buffett 3 months ago?
Sorry.
Said how prophetic was Warren Buffett 3 months ago, man, at their Berkshire Hathaway conference when he said that everybody's gonna get wiped out and like, dude.
Yeah, wait, when he said that, how much was Bitcoin at? It was like around this range, right? Back in 30, so it's it's done 30% since then.
Old man Buffett, dude. Eating his dang McDonald's.
Okay, so Google split is on Monday, so it takes effect Monday. Okay. So Paul, is that a 20-1?
I think it is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
20-1, then there'll be 200, where is it? 10, 20, $200 stock? Or 100, no, 100.
It'd be
Oh,
100.
it'll be like
Yeah.
Amazon again. Okay, so it'll be this Amazon price.
Yep.
That's funny.
Oh, there's a good question. Thoughts on VIX? And you want to talk VIX and you VIXy?
Let's see.
Because man, those were.
Okay, this is VIX. This is my VIX line chart, and I'm sticking with it. It is. I mean, it's hitting that trend line support once again. It may go a little bit lower, but man, keep an eye on VIX. I gotta expect some volatility this next 2 weeks with earnings and FOMC and all that nonsense. Rate hikes, GDP. Okay, I should have loaded some on Friday, but I forgot to. But it's hitting this trend line. If it actually breaks 24, I think I will be a buyer.
Look at weekly as well and zoom out. Just it's a nice round bottom.
Yeah. I know a lot of bulls are saying like, VIX is going to 20, it's going to go below. I mean, hey, you're going to get a huge rally if it goes below 20. We'll still make money, no worries. But yeah, you're starting to see this cup and handle action happening. We'll see what happens. But I like my daily chart. I'm sticking with this trend line support. It's at MA 200 on a daily, right? It's literally right there. So if this dumps down, fine, then maybe I'm going to start grabbing some calls, just like maybe close to in the money August or September calls. A great way to hedge if you got calls for earnings, if you got calls for on the queue, etc. This thing is bottoming out so badly or perfectly that it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. Because if it follows this trend, right? I mean, obviously it's not going to follow it perfectly, but right. Long term,
yeah,
blast off 45.
Yeah, I was gonna say 45 is probably.
Yeah, 45. Every major disaster in US stock history, right, has started or bottomed out, let's say, when VIX hits around this area. This is weekly. This is 2020. 2020, we hit 66, ladies and gentlemen, right? What makes this financial crisis or inflation crisis we're in any different, right? This was 2008 crisis, right? We're at 76. 2018, where's 2018, right? We were at, let's see, right above, went up 2018, 2019, right above 30. Okay, this was COVID right here, right? So, there's just no way you can ignore this kind of pattern in VIX. We'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that as far as catalysts go, man, I think you're going to see. I read something yesterday, man, about like 45% of small business owners don't expect to be in business in the next 2 months.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, maybe not like a cataclysmic like COVID type thing, or, Russia pouring over the border or China pouring over the border into Taiwan, but like just the continual, like that snowball effect of just like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, with our economy. It's demand reduction happening. You're going to see, like, yeah, we have a plethora of jobs and things like that, but what happens when companies, that have excess inventory have to start laying people off from the jobs that are there?
Yeah.
Small business owners shutting their doors for good, restaurants closing again. Yeah. So it's just going to be kind of like the slow burn that probably eventually erupts.
Yeah, absolutely. Whew, look at this. That's crazy. Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, 10:40 already, or 1:40 your guys' time. I think you guys need to go out and enjoy your Saturday with your family. We'll go ahead and end it here. Zeus, thank you for being on with us today.
Yeah, man. Always. I miss doing this, dude. We don't podcast anymore.
Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, I'll try to do this every weekend as time permits, in the morning or afternoon, and just kind of catch up with everybody, answer people's questions, etc. So other than that, hope you guys have a great weekend, and let's go ahead and sign off, sir.
All right. I'm off to the beach.
All right, see you, buddy.
Later.
Later.